Hi. Okay, I haven't seen you in a little while in this way, just very casual, but I wanted to do a fun video for you today. I've never done a video like this before, so that'd be a really cool topic. The differences between Dave's Killer Bread and Ezekiel Bread. Why am I doing this? So recently I've been doing a lot of what we call strategy calls with folks who are interested in private coaching with me. I have 2 spots available for private coaching right now. So I reached out to a bunch of people to see if they wanted to get on private coaching with me now because I'm available. But what ended up happening was everyone ended up joining the accelerator, which is similar to private coaching but more robust. So I still have 2 spots available. So if you're interested, I'm gonna give you the way to sign up. It'll be in the description and you'll be able to click something up here or whatever too. Of course, Moo is here now because she has to be the center of attention for everything. But the reason this came up is because I've been having so many conversations with you all lately about what your struggles are, you know, what's holding you back from losing weight, from eating to live consistently and all that. And every so often, people will ask me, it's so funny that this happens so often. People will ask me about Dave's Killer Bread. Is Dave's Killer Bread okay to eat? Right, this is Dave's Killer Bread here, the logo there. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I've been asked this question. So we're gonna break this down fully today. We're gonna look at the entire label of both packages. We're gonna compare the two, and then I'm gonna let you decide what you think about these 2 breads, okay? So as I said, if you wanna sign up for a strategy call with me to find out more about private coaching with me, I'd love to chat with you. Private coaching with me or even Lydia or Nancy, I can chat with you about that. So feel free to sign up for a strategy call, but let's dive in here, okay? And of course I've got a cat in my lap because why not? Dave's Killer Bread versus Ezekiel Bread. Now, why Dave's and why Ezekiel? Because Dave's Killer Bread is nowadays known as a healthier type bread, right? That's what people perceive Dave's Killer Bread to be like. Ezekiel is the one that Dr. Furman always recommends, right? So Ezekiel wraps, Ezekiel bread. They even have English muffins at some stores. So we're just gonna compare the 2. I'm gonna let you decide. Okay, so first, let's look totally at Dave's Killer Bread's marketing, the packaging, and the nutrition facts, okay? The ingredients as well. So we'll start with the marketing. What is marketing for a product? First of all, Dr. Furman is always saying, if it has a nutrition facts label, that's not the kind of food that you want to be eating, right? If it has labels and it has like marketing and stuff like that, those are the foods that we want to rely less on. We want to rely more on stuff that just has the little labels with the numbers on it because it's produce, right? But we do allow some processed foods in the diet. We do allow bread and things like that. So let's just see what the best choices are, okay? Now let's look at the marketing of this package. You know it's marketing because it's on the front, okay? So anytime you're looking at a package, the marketing is on the front. That means the sales messages, right? Like how they're gonna try to get you to buy it by telling you these awesome things about it to make you think that it's a good product. So we'll look at the marketing. First of all, Dave's Killer Bread, right? So what is the story behind Dave? It's actually a really awesome story. Dave himself was in prison for a while and his family had a bakery. And when he got out of prison, his family took him back into the family business and he created Dave's Killer Bread. And so now his company actually takes in folks with a criminal record. They like 1/3 of their company is based, the people have a criminal record. So that's pretty cool. I gotta say, I like when I support a product that has a good mission, right? So that's something to think about, first of all. We'll talk about the marketing for Ezekiel Bread after this, okay? So that's cool to know. But that's who, you know, that's the sort of cartoon of Dave. Now, what do we see in the beginning? In the front here, we say thin sliced. It's called Good Seed. It says organic bread, which is cool. We love organic, right? 3 grams of protein, 3 grams of fiber, 320 milligrams of ALA omega-3, and 13 grams of whole grains. Typically when you see this, that will be for per serving, right? For 1 slice usually of bread. And then it tells you how much is in the package. They've got their symbol for organic and non-GMO. So those are things that we like, right? So marketing wise, also they're talking about how many calories per slice, 70 calories per serving, right? Okay, so that's the marketing that we see on the front. Now let's look at the marketing on the back, because there's always some, you know, discussion of their product on the back, no matter what product you're looking at. So we get the discussion about the company history, which is cool. We also get Good seeds, so this says loaded with a seedy texture and sweet flavor. Good seed, thin sliced, has 70 calories per slice. That's what we call big nutrition in a little slice. Okay, so this is marketing. They're trying to tell you what to think about the bread right there, okay? Now we can look down at these symbols right here. We have, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, this is for kosher, perhaps? I'm not sure. But they also do, I forgot to mention, oh, we'll see that on Ezekiel actually. So that's the symbol they have for the nutrition. They've also got a whole grains council. That's a cat flicking her tail at me, which says 13 grams or more per serving, and then it says eat 48 grams or more of whole grains daily. And then please recycle, blah, blah, blah. They've got contact information. Then they have the organic, another organic label, and they have their address for the company, for the distribution, and then they have the ingredients. So let's get into this information now for the ingredients, okay? I'm gonna show you how to look at a label. Now, this is funny. When you're looking at, when you're looking at food labels, oh my gosh, Moo, seriously? When you're looking at food labels, this is not the important part, right? Get out of here. Okay, this is not the important part. This is the part we ignore. We ignore this marketing. We ignore it all. It doesn't mean anything to us. The only thing that actually means anything is the ingredients and the nutrition facts label, okay? That's where we're gonna find out what's actually in here. So let's find out. Now, we'll compare these two side by side in a second, but I wanted to show you how to like look at a food label here. So one slice is the serving size, okay? So you got a serving size of one slice here. And they're marketing that these are healthier because it's lower calorie because they're thin sliced, right? Okay, so 70 calories per slice. Then we have 1.5 grams of total fat, saturated fat none, polyunsaturated fat, 1 gram, and monounsaturated fat 0.5. So that's pretty decent type fat, right? Like we don't want saturated fat. So that's a pretty decent type fat. No cholesterol. Sodium is 115 milligrams. Okay, so for a Nutritarian, this is a high sodium food, right? How do we know this? Because we look at, this is the way we tell that. So we look at the calories, 70 calories in one serving, and one serving has 115 milligrams of sodium. So that's almost double the amount of sodium we're looking for. We want to eat foods that have about equal to the number of calories per serving or less of milligrams of sodium. So a decent sodium food would be 70 milligrams of sodium per slice or less. That would actually be a good, a decent food. Now, Dr. Furman, if you're following Nutritarian diet strict, he talks about having around 1,000 milligrams of sodium or less for a woman per day, and like, I think it's like around 1,200 or something for a man, right? You're already gonna get 750 to 1,000 milligrams of sodium if you ate all produce. So adding in 1 or 2 slices like this is gonna get you to your allotment of extra sodium per day, which is around 300 to 500 milligrams of sodium per day that you technically could have extra if you were eating processed foods. But 2 of these slices, 3 of these slices is gonna get you there already. So if you're eating any other type of food, it's a slightly high sodium food as far as compared to whole natural foods, which would sort of be equal or less. So that's something to consider, okay? Next thing we're gonna look at here is the carbohydrates. So we have 13 grams per slice. This is something that a diabetic would want to be looking at, right? Like, is it gonna raise their blood sugar a lot? This doesn't say anything about low glycemic or anything, so it's not. Oh, I forgot this section over here. So let me read to you these little things. It says, this is more marketing. So made for greatness, no high fructose corn syrup, no artificial preservatives, no artificial ingredients, always power packed with whole grains, always organic, non-GMO, and made with killer taste and texture. Okay, so there's some more marketing for you. So we wanna be looking at the carbohydrate number, in case we're a diabetic. And then what's really important here is to look at the sugar part. So always when you're looking at a processed food, look for the line that says total sugars and then includes how many grams of added sugar. That's where you're really gonna learn a lot about what is in that product. So this one has added sugar in it. right? That's something to keep in mind. We'll look at that more when we see the Ezekiel bread too. And then one slice has 3 grams of protein, okay? It also has a negligible amount of iron, so that's just something to keep in mind too. We will compare side by side with Ezekiel. Now let's look at the ingredients label, okay? Because this is pretty fascinating. Now, first ingredient on there is, it like looks really good, and it would make you think it's really good because it says organic whole wheat. But when we see what they mean by the term organic whole wheat, that actually is, it's actually organic whole wheat flour and organic cracked wheat. So that whole wheat, the cracked wheat, and you can actually see it in the bread. Let me get you a piece of this. You can actually see that cracked wheat in there. You can see some flax seeds, and I believe this is the cracked wheat here, these little pieces. Yeah, those are like the wheat berries. And then they have the flax seeds and some nuts on the outsides. Like you can see some sunflowers, some flax seeds, some black sesame seeds, and then a little bit, I think there might be some millet on there. I'm not sure. We'll look in the ingredients. White sesame seeds as well. So you can see some whole grains for sure and some whole nuts and seeds. But the thing to note is that there is whole wheat flour, which is not what we want, right? Like that's not what we're looking for in a bread. So already we've got an ingredient in there that's not super great for us, okay? So let's keep going down. So we've got whole wheat flour, cracked whole wheat. Then we go water, that's fine. Then we go organic good seed grain and seed mix. Sounds great, right? Organic whole flax seeds. I'm trying to read this, and that's awesome. Organic sunflower seeds, brown sesame seeds, black sesame seeds, ground whole flax seeds, organic steel cut oats. So that's awesome. I love that. Those are wonderful. That's all whole foods. Some of them are cracked a little bit, but that's fine. That is really great. I like that whole seed mix. Now let's go down here. Next ingredient. So we've had two ingredients, not including water. We've had 2 ingredients so far. The next ingredient is organic cane sugar. Okay, so that's what we want to see. Like, how much sugar is in our bread, right? Like, how much is actually whole flour, and then where's the sugar? Is there sugar in there, right? So that's our 3rd ingredient here. Next is organic wheat gluten, which of course, as we know by now, can be tough for folks who have gluten sensitivities, things like that. So that's something to keep in mind. It's not necessarily an unhealthy thing, I'd say, but it is a processed food because it's the gluten removed from the food. So that's a very processed type of wheat. And then we've got similarly organic oat fiber. So they have removed the fiber from oats and put that in as well. And now we get to the sort of other section, the bottom section here, which is the less than 2%, to sort of minimize the use of these things. So we've got salt, we've got, sorry, I have to do it like this. We've got organic molasses. So that's sugar number 2 in this bread. Okay, keep that in mind. Sea salt, yeast, those are okay, but we know salt is something we want to have less of. Yeast, of course, because it's bread. Vinegar, that's great. Organic cultured wheat flour, I don't even know what that means, but there's more flour, right? So we don't really want that. Enzymes, and then acerola cherry powder. I don't know why they use the cherry powder. Perhaps it's for coloring to make it look browner, or it's for flavoring, I'm not sure. Okay, so that's our ingredient list. That's the thing I want you to look at when you're looking at any kind of product. Look down that nutrition facts label and then look at those ingredients. Now we're gonna see the difference between this and Ezekiel bread. So let's look at the marketing for Ezekiel bread, okay? So Ezekiel is made from the, let me open this up. It's made from the Food for Life company. This is one of their, like, you know, smaller brands. They have lots of different types of products at the market. And they call this Ezekiel 4:9. So this is a biblical reference of a scripture in Ezekiel, which talks about sort of the proper way to make bread with wheat, barley, wheat, barley, beans, lentils, millet, and spelt, and put them in one vessel and make bread of it. So it says, as described in the Holy Scripture verse, blah, blah, blah. So this is a sort of religious connotation, right? Take it or leave it, however you want it, but that's why they have that recipe, okay? What else do we see marketing wise here? So we've got the live grain difference, it says. See back panel for details, so we will. Then we've got a bunch of those qualifiers down here: organic, non-GMO, low glycemic, which is interesting. It says it's certified by the Glycemic Research Institute of Washington, D.C. Then it says it's complete plant protein. And then it says 19 grams of whole grain. So that's more than is in Dave's, right? It also has the, I apologize for not understanding much about this, but I know this means kosher, right? So this bread is kosher as well. And it's also vegan. So there's a little thing there. And then it says certified organic non-GMO. So that's all the marketing. Oh, there's more marketing up here. It says the original low glycemic flourless sprouted grain bread. Okay, this one is the sesame flavor. I love, that's my favorite. It's natural, no preservatives. So that's all the marketing that you get on the front. Okay, on the side you get the same kind of marketing. Now I'm gonna close this up. You know a bread is very fresh if it has that inner layer as well. So that it has the bag on the outside, but it also has the inner bag. Sorry, the bread is falling out, so it's hard for me to show it to you. But you know they have that second layer of inner bag to keep it fresh. I have to say from experience with Ezekiel bread, you must keep it refrigerated or frozen because it goes bad in just a couple days because it really doesn't have a lot of any preservatives in it. Okay, so let's look at the rest of the marketing here. There's actually a lot of text, which is quite interesting, right? And then the nutrition facts are on the side, so we'll get to that in a second, but let's look at the marketing. So we've got inspired by the Holy Scripture, we discovered when these 6 grains and legumes are sprouted and combined, an amazing thing happens. A complete protein is created that contains all 9 essential amino acids. So they're talking about this idea of complete protein. Like people are always arguing about how meat is better for you because it's complete protein. But we in the Eat to Live community know that that's not necessarily the case, but they're using their marketing to talk about how this is a complete protein. So that's interesting. And then it says, our question, are food for life sprouted whole grain breads gluten-free? And then they say, while sprouting promotes the digestibility of grains through enzymatic activity, this product contains naturally occurring gluten found in whole grains such as wheat. So they don't have it, but this is not gluten-free, but they do have some other ones. And then it says, there are 18 amino acids present in this unique bread from all vegetable sources, naturally balanced in nature. Ezekiel bread made from freshly sprouted, organically grown grains is naturally flavorful. Try it served warm to release its exceptionally rich, natural sesame taste. This biblical bread is truly the staff of life. Okay, interesting. So then we go to some more marketing. The miracle of the sprouts. So they're talking about the live grain difference from the front. Different from most breads today, this unique bread is made from freshly sprouted live grains and contains absolutely no flour. We believe in sprouting the grains we use in our breads because sprouting increases vital nutrients stored in whole grains. To unlock this dormant food energy, maximize nutrition and flavor, we add just the right amount of water to the grains. Beneficial enzymes are activated which cause the grains to sprout and become a living food. Our exclusive sprouting process not only increases vitamins, it also causes a natural change that allows the protein and carbohydrates to be assimilated by the body more efficiently. And even better still, our exclusive baking process preserves these valuable nutrients and retains the important natural fiber and bran. You can see, taste, and smell the live grain difference of Food for Life brands. Breads, as nutritious as they are delicious, Food for Life breads are the substance of a meal, not just something that holds a sandwich together. See the difference fresh sprouts really make. So when you're looking for nutrition bread, reach for the sprouted grain breads, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we're getting a bunch of messaging about nutrition here, right? Over and over and over again, they're hitting us over the head with the nutrition. Dave's Killer Bread is hitting us over the head with diet culture, 70 calories per slice, making it look healthy, right? And then loaded with a seedy texture and sweet flavor. Of course, we know it's sweet because it has sugar in it. Good seed, thin sliced, has 70 calories per slice. That's what we call big nutrition in a little slice. So they talk a little bit about nutrition here, but nowhere near what they're talking about here with Ezekiel. So Ezekiel has a very specific type of process that they use to create this bread, the sprouting and all that kind of thing. Okay, so now let's look at the actual nutrition facts, because this is where we get the real information, okay? Let me set my camera up over here. Now, on the side of the bag here is the nutrition facts. So let's start up here. So one serving size is 80 calories and one slice. So that's more than one slice of Dave's, okay? Total fat 1 gram, where we had 1.5 grams in Dave's. Similarly, no saturated fat, and we have, wait, where did the fat go? Hold on. That's interesting, because it says 1 gram of fat, but then it doesn't break down what type of fat it is. I don't think I've seen that before. I don't understand. Maybe it's like close to 1 gram, and then they don't have to actually put it anywhere, you know, in one of the columns. Okay, no cholesterol, just like Dave's. Now let's look at sodium. 80 milligrams. Look, this is a perfectly balanced sodium food. So 80 calories, 80 milligrams. That's totally acceptable on the Nutritarian diet from a sodium perspective, okay? Then we go to total carbohydrates, 15 grams. So 15 grams is gonna be a little bit more than Dave's at 13. It could just be from the volume of the slice. Like 1 slice is 34 grams in this. Yeah, and 1 slice is 28 grams of Dave's. So they're probably very similar, you know, per calorie, but in 1 slice you get more carbs. So that's something for a diabetic to watch out for, but it has more whole fiber, I think, right? Nope, same amount of fiber. So 3 grams, actually a little bit more per calorie, right? So 3 grams in Dave's and 3 grams in Ezekiel. But Ezekiel has 0 grams of added sugar. Okay, so that's good to note. And it has more protein, so 5 grams of protein. Now, the more protein you have in a food with the carbohydrates is actually better for glycemic index, right? So that's why they call it a low glycemic food. And then we've got lots of, this is interesting, we got lots of other vitamins and minerals here where Dave's doesn't. So we have 2 milligrams of iron, which is a lot more than Dave's. Dave's only has 0.7 milligrams. Then we have 2% of our potassium, 83 milligrams. We have thiamine, we've got niacin, vitamin B6, we've got folate. I imagine it's a naturally occurring folate. We'll check that in the ingredients list. Phosphorus, magnesium, zinc, wow, selenium, and manganese. So you get lots of other vitamins and minerals in this bread that you don't get in Dave's, okay? Now let's look at the ingredients panel. This is the important part. So I'm gonna read these off to you in order. Organic sprouted wheat. Okay, now they mentioned they don't use any flour, so that would be a whole grain, right? Water, just like Dave's second ingredient is water. Organic sprouted barley, organic sprouted millet, malted, these are all organic, malted barley, sprouted lentils, sprouted soybeans, sprouted spelt, right? So all of those are whole grains, and they don't, like, meaning they don't crush them up and turn them into flour to make the bread. They just make the bread out of the grains, right? I bet they crush them a bit though, I have to say. And then they have fresh yeast, of course, because it's bread, wheat gluten, just like Dave's does, sea salt, just like Dave's, and then organic sesame seeds. And that's it, folks. That's it for the ingredients label here. So they don't have any added sugar, as you can tell from both labels. And then they just have information about how to contact them. And then it says, storing and keeping tips. This is a natural product. For best results, refrigerate after purchase or freeze for longer periods of keeping, which I also recommend because it goes bad pretty quick. And that's actually kind of how you know it's a really good quality too, because it goes bad quickly, you know? If you leave that bread out and it gets moldy, you know there's not a bunch of preservatives in it. If it must be refrigerated, you know there's not a lot of preservatives. So that's actually a good thing, right? You just want to use it or keep it in the freezer. It keeps really well in there. Now, let's just do a final look and then we'll do my final comments about this, okay? So let's take a look at the bread itself. So I have a couple, I have the 2 slices here. This is Dave's Killer and this one is Ezekiel, okay? So just by looking at it, this is the 70 calorie slice, this is the 80 calorie slice. Now there's more, they both have the same amount of fiber, which is interesting. This one looks like it has a little bit more bulk. It does have just a little bit more volume per slice than the Dave's Killer does. The Dave's Killer is interesting. When you touch it, it feels a little sticky. That's something I noticed too eating this bread. I noticed especially if you toast it, it has that very toothsome quality, right? When you bite down on it, you just get that feeling, that little bit of stickiness. That is from the sugar and the molasses in there, right? So you can tell that already. You do not get that similar mouthfeel with Ezekiel bread. It's a bit drier, because it is all those whole grains. You know, I feel like they must have, I mean, I don't know, they say they don't have any flour at all, but
maybe it's the wheat gluten that makes it kind of stick together. That's what I would assume. But you can really see a lot of those whole grains in there. I can see, I believe that's millet. Let me look at the ingredients again. Oh yeah, no, it's millet. Barley, lentils. It's so cool that this has beans in it too, right? Like legumes. Barley, it's got soybeans. So it's not just wheat, right? It has beans and legumes in there also, which is pretty freaking awesome. Then you've got these beautiful sesame seeds on the outside. I have to say I love the flavor of the sesame one the most. It is my favorite. You get lots of sesame on the outside. But if we're actually doing a taste test between the two, Dave's Killer tastes so much better. Why? Because it's got a ton of sugar in it, right? You can see some whole things in here, which is really nice. But honestly, when it comes down to it, this is obviously the one with the nutritional sort of powerhouse, right? Okay. So we've been through that. I know it was kind of long, but I hope that was helpful. We've gone through the comparison side by side of the two breads. And I just wanted to kind of give you, what else? There's something else here that says biochecked non-glyphosate certified, right? So we talk about glyphosate being the pesticide that they use in growing the actual wheat. They don't use that either. So there's another marketing there. Okay, so let's just talk final thoughts here about these two breads, okay? So you can see the difference in the marketing, you can see the difference in the actual ingredients and the processing of the breads. I hope that by now, just by looking at these two things, you can see the difference between the nutrition as well. I believe the marketing on Ezekiel. Do you see what I mean? Like, they really know what they're talking about when it comes to sprouting and nutrition, and they are leaning heavily on that as well as the biblical aspect of it. So you can tell that they're a very spiritual, religious type company as well, but they have their ducks in a row, so to speak, when it comes to nutrition. Dave's Killer. And here's the thing, when people get onto a call with me and they are talking about like private coaching or wanting to get into the accelerator or whatever, and then they start talking about Dave's, it's like they're holding their breath. Like, what do you think about Dave's Killer Bread? And I'm always like, compared to what, right? Like, compared to what? Compared to Ezekiel? Not even in the same class. Compared to Wonder Bread, amazing, like good choice, right? So I want you to think of it, I want you to think of all the foods in the grocery store on a spectrum. One end of the spectrum is mega processed, avoid if you can, right? Eat rarely, if ever, like try never, you know? And then the other end of the spectrum is an apple or a whole grain, like an actual, just cook it and that's it. Actual whole plant foods kind of a deal. So everything's on a spectrum there. Now, the decision on which bread to eat is up to you, right? If you're gonna decide which bread is more nutritarian, it's obviously Ezekiel bread. Which bread tastes better? Dave's, because it has more salt and more sugar in it, right? But what you're liking there is the salt and the sugar. What you're not liking in Ezekiel, perhaps, if you think it's too dry or it's too bland or whatever, is the fact that it doesn't have very much salt and no sugar in it. That's why. When you take a bite of any food and it lifts your taste buds and you're like, oh, this is so good, you get some dopamine hit, it's because of salt, oil, or sugar, salt, fat, or sugar. It's one of those three things, or these like very, you know, which tend to be salt like flavor enhancers and things like that. It's because of one of those things that you love that flavor. So just keep in mind the next time you take a bite of something and you're like, this is so good, it's probably because of salt, oil, or sugar. And the natural, just understand the natural food itself without the salt, oil, or sugar would not be as good. So you decide what you want to put in your body. You like, and there's no judgment too, right? Like, I'm not saying don't eat Dave's Killer Bread. I'm just saying, like, understand the difference. It's not a nutritarian choice, right? It's a pretty processed choice. It's got flour in it as its first ingredient. Use your best judgment on how you want to be living. But I think the most important point here is don't go shopping blindly, right? Like, don't just go based on the marketing that they put on the front, because you cannot trust that, right? It's not useful. Use your eyes, use the nutrition facts label, use what you know, look at the actual ingredients, and don't just, you know, go into the grocery store with blinders on, like expecting to become healthier or whatever. This is in your hands and it's available to you right now to make some good changes. There are small shifts, like we talk about in my programs, there are small shifts that you can make, and I can tell you all about how to do that. to get from Wonder Bread to Dave's Killer to Ezekiel, right? But this is all mindset. This part is all mindset. So when you hear me talk about mindset, right? That's what we're talking about. Okay, so 2 things. Number 1, if you are interested, okay, number 1, I hope this was helpful for you. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Did you learn something? Are you sad about Dave's Killer Bread? Tell me what you think down below. Let's chat about it. But then 2 things I want you to keep in mind. Number 1, we are doing a free 5-day Eat to Live challenge starting Monday after this video is published. I mean, not starting, it's going live on the Monday after this video is published. So feel free to go sign up for that at thewateringmouth.com/challenge. And when it's available on September 26, 2022, we will send it right out to you. Even if you sign up after that, it's fine. Sign up whenever you want and you can still get that challenge for free, okay? It's going to be starting, I believe it's October 3rd, which is Monday. So that is a 5-day free Eat to Live challenge. We do this every quarter for you guys. Feel free to sign up for that. It's recipes, grocery plans, grocery lists, meal plans. I always mix those 2 up. For 5 full days of wonderful Nutritarian eating. It's gonna taste delicious, you're gonna love it. We have a Facebook group that goes along with it, so you'll get a ton of like energy and motivation, and it'll be so much fun. Okay, so sign up for that. That's gonna go for 5 days. And then the next week, we are opening up the Eat to Live family again, okay? So that is on October 10th. We're opening up the Eat to Live family again. It's gonna be open only for a few days. You have to get in. We are doing a special this time because I want to get as many people in there as I can because because I want you to have some support for the holidays, okay? We are gonna be doing a special holiday workshop, a 3-month holiday workshop. I think they're gonna be on like a 2-day workshop each month. Coach Nancy, Coach Lydia will be delivering some amazing lessons inside of the family. It's all included to keep you on track during the holiday season, okay? You also get access to group coaching. I'm in there group coaching, Nancy, Lydia, do all that. It's gonna be amazing. You're gonna have so much support, and all the people that are in there are gonna cheer you on. We already have dozens and dozens of awesome people in there. People that have been in there for well over a year and a half, like just soaking it up, getting results. We have one woman in there who's lost over 35 pounds since March just because of coaching. We have exactly what you need to learn how to lose weight, to eat healthy, and most importantly, become consistent with Eat to Live eating, okay? So that's that. Just keep in mind, we're gonna be opening up the family. If you sign up for the challenge, you'll automatically get notified on October 10th when we open the family, okay? Lastly, just the last thing is if you are interested in private coaching with me, because I have 2 spots and only 2 spots right now, just there's a link below. You can sign up for a call with me and just schedule it right in my calendar. I'll reach out to you. We'll talk about what you're struggling with, what you need, and how we can help, because I know we can. We have the best programs in the world, I promise you. So effective, so amazing. I would love to teach you the mindset of consistent healthy eating and weight loss if that's what you're interested in. So that's it for now. I know that was so much, but I just really wanted to pack it in this video because I've been wanting to do this comparison for a long time. So let me know what you think down below in the comments. I hope to see you and meet you on a strategy call really soon if you're interested in private coaching. And we hope to see you in the free 5-day challenge coming up, as well as the family that is opening soon. So have a great one. See you in the next video. Bye.